Lou's Reviews, let's get to it. This weekend I encountered a small little dilemma. Two movies came out this weekend that I really wanted to see, but I only had time for one. There was Mama or The Last Stand. But I went for the creepy ghost story movie, Mama. And I walked out very satisfied. And I'm pretty sure Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies, like all his other movies, big pieces of crap. Big pieces of crap that are awesome. This is probably one of those movies that was so bad and ridiculous you ended up liking it anyway. It's so bad it's good, and I'm probably gonna watch it on Tuesday anyway. So, on to Mama. It stars Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. He's from Game of Thrones. And once again, Jessica Chastain, who I talked about in Zero Dark 30. And they play a couple named Lucas and Annabelle. But Lucas had a twin brother, and he was going through some serious problems. So he killed his wife. He took his two little girls, Victoria and Lily. They crashed into the wintry forest. They walk along until they find a cabin. A cabin in the woods? So the twin brother is completely suicidal, and he wants to kill off the rest of his family, including the little girls. But something bad happens, and they're not alone in that house. Cabin. And then 5 years into the future, you find out that Lucas has been looking for them this entire time. And he has a pretty cool girlfriend who plays bass in a rock band named Annabelle. And the cool thing you need to keep in mind about Annabelle is that she has this really cool looking tattoo on her arm. It's a tattoo of an octopus. It symbolizes something important. So yes, try to keep in mind that there is an octopus on Annabelle's arm. And try to figure out for yourself what that actually represents about her. Because once again, you'll find out for yourself that the real star of this movie is not Lucas, but Annabelle. So after discovering that Victoria and Lily are actually alive and they've survived in the cabin in the woods for 5 years, Lucas and Annabelle have to take care of them now. And they're not exactly normal kids. Especially the younger kid, Lily. She's freaky as hell. She's very feral and wild, and she actually walks around on all 4 legs like this. It's creepy. And this is not the kind of scary movie where it's like, ah, scary! It actually takes its sweet time to build up the tension and then very slowly reveal that something terrible is happening. It tickles your curiosity just a little bit. It's like if I were to go like this to you and tell you that there's something in my hand, and instead of me going, "Wah, there's something in my hand," I slowly reveal it to you, like, oh, it's a piece of candy in your hand. Okay, okay. But in the movie, it's like, there's something behind that door. Oh my god. And that's where the movie really worked for me. It was just these slow little build-ups to reveal something very terrifying. Like your face! And it does get progressively worse, because that's what you gotta get your money for, just to get scared progressively. There's also progressive character change and growth. Because in most horror movies, you don't care about the characters. Like, okay, you're gonna die, this chick is pretty hot, she's gonna sleep with this guy. Oh, there's a black guy, he's probably gonna die first. But you don't care. But in Mama, you do care. You do care if Annabelle manages to connect with the girls. You do care if Lucas manages to reunite with his nieces. You do care if Lily and Victoria have a chance of actually getting back into civil society. You kind of get emotionally invested into these characters. Well, at least I did. And even with the ghost, as terrifying as she is, you do get the sense that there is a real human emotion driving the ghost. It feels really genuine. I actually cared for these characters. And I do have one major concern about the backstory behind the movie Mama. You probably already know that there is a huge name attached to this movie. Guillermo del Toro. Guacamole del Toro? Guillermo del Toro? Whatever, the Mexican director named Del Toro. He's directed Pan's Labyrinth, the Hellboy movies, and produced that other Spanish movie back in the day called The Orphanage. And the thing about Mr. Del Toro is that he's established himself really well. He has a style, he has a look, he has technical competence. Since Mama was directed by this new guy named Andre Muschietti, which he wrote along with his sister named Barbara, Mama felt more like a Del Toro movie than it did a Muschietti movie. Like if you were to look at The Lion King and you got Mufasa and you got Simba, and then Mufasa's gone, and you take a good look at Simba, and you say to Simba, you know, even though I see elements of Mufasa in you, I still look at you as Simba. When I look at you, to me, you are Simba. Or for any Street Fighter fans out there, the story behind Ryu and Ken, they had a teacher named Goken, and he taught them the Hadouken, the Shoryuken. And then they got that spinning hurricane kick that I don't even know what it's called, the one that goes But even though they have the same set moves, Hadouken, Shoryuken, and the kick, you look at Ryu and you look at Ken, that even though they have the same set moves, they are uniquely different from each other. And you got Ken who has the flaming Shoryuken, and then you got Ryu who's good with the Hadoukens. They feel very unique from each other. And I also find it very ironic that the movie is called Mama. Because I imagine that when they were making this movie and they got Del Toro here, he was in a sense mamaing or parenting the director Muschietti. Even though Muschietti directed the movie, there were just a lot of Del Toro touches everywhere. Like if you were to tell me that this movie was directed by Del Toro, I would have believed you. But it wasn't. And maybe I am being a little harsh or overcritical, but maybe in the future in Muschietti's next movie, there'll be a little less Del Toro and a little more Muschietti style. Or perhaps a good equal balance of both of them to create one unique movie. This is why The Avengers was so good. It was an Avengers movie, Marvel characters, but with a little touch of Joss Whedon. It was great. It was awesome. That's what I'm hoping for with the new Man of Steel movie. It's got Zack Snyder and you got Christopher Nolan and his crew producing it. And hopefully it won't feel like, you know, it's, even though it's directed by Zack Snyder, the movie feels like a Christopher Nolan movie. Or Zack Snyder really takes over and then it's just like, yeah, he produced it, whatever. But hopefully it'll just get that good balance between the Christopher Nolan guys and the Zack Snyder guys to create one unique, awesome project. And that's what I hope this new director Muschietti does for himself. Like he takes what he's learned from Del Toro and, you know, finds his own little groundings, his own bearings, and creates his own unique project. And he's like, hey, that's a Muschietti movie. Awesome. But I gotta give it to Del Toro. He has some really messed up ideas that come out of his head that end up being totally awesome. Mama overall was a very, very good scary movie. I was emotionally invested in these characters. I cared for them, and it just got progressively worse. It was growth in the characters and growth in the scares. Because I'm the type of guy who's sitting in the movie theater and a scary scene pops up and everyone's going, oh my god, it's so scary! But I'm sitting there going, yeah, that was a pretty kick-ass scary scene. Instead of being scared by the scares, I'm the type of guy who appreciates the scares that scare people. And Mama was a scary movie. And I liked it a lot. The acting was great, the camera work was great, the music was great. And the little girls were fantastic. They're a good cross between being very creepy and being very cute. It's creepy. But yes, Mama was awesome. A little too much Del Toro, but I hope in the next movie Muschietti really finds his own bearings in his next film. It was scary, it was solid, B+. Go see Mama, it was great. Or go see Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Last Stand!